Your life, and tonight we're living it very dangerously for all sorts of unexpected reasons. We've had to switch the location of our very first surprise. You know, when I produced the book about 20 minutes ago, I should have been over there at the Hilton Hotel, Park Lane, meeting that Rolls Royce you were watching. We have in fact been following it around all afternoon, and its glamorous guest on board, someone who was once known as Britain's #1 sex symbol. We've been following her and it around. She's been filming for a television program, and right now she thinks, with the filming over, that she is being transported straight to another studio, when in fact, without her knowing, we have switched the plan. She's been switched to this studio, which, when she gets as far as this door to where I'm going now, becomes this theater. Now, I want you to watch for the Rolls Royce arriving outside our theater. You may not be able to see it very clearly because we dare not put on any extra lights because she might get suspicious. All right, well, that's it, I've been told. So let's keep fairly quiet, fingers crossed, because this lady very much has a mind of her own. And if anything goes wrong at this stage, we have no show.
Come straight in. Thank you.
Come in, Adam. I know you didn't expect to see me again.
Eamon! Oh, no!
Tonight, legendary glamour girl of the screen, Diana DORS. This is your life. Over there at Park Lane to meet you, but things went wrong, so we met you here. And Diana DORS, this is your life. A life that's had more cliffhanging moments than the plot of any movie. It began on October 23rd, 1931, when you were born at the Haven Nursing Home, Kent Road, Swindon in Wiltshire, near the family home at 210 Marlborough Road. Both your parents are, alas, no longer with us. Your dad, there he is, was an army captain in the Great War, but it was your late mother who encouraged your earliest show business aspirations. But you hadn't learned any of those later famous pin-up poses when this was taken, age just 2. Went on to appear not only in dozens more films, but also become a star of television. And I know one of those television appearances was opposite this leading man 14 years ago. And he's been your leading man ever since, your husband, actor Alan Lake.
Oh!
And with him, your 12-year-old son, Jason.
Oh, my God. You obviously knew about all this.
Oh, God, did I know about it 3 weeks ago?
Oh, that's terrible. You see, it just goes to show you can be married to somebody and not know what's going on.
Alan, speaking of that, only the day after meeting Diana, you had a rather special gift for her, hadn't you?
That's right, yes, Eamon. It was an antique Mexican ring that a very good uncle of mine had given to me just before he died, on the understanding that I would promise to give it to the first girl that I saw that I was going to get married to.
But Diana, you'd only known each other a day or so. Were you surprised when Alan told you about his uncle and the ring?
I don't think I was thinking too much about his uncle at the time. I was too interested in him.
Well, less than 2 months after you'd met Diana, you had another ring on your finger, this time a wedding ring, because you were married at London's Caxton Hall on November 23rd, 1968.
Diana DORS, the perennial blonde bombshell, marries actor Alan Lake just 6 weeks after she first met him. It for sheer magnetism, said Alan, like the first taste of champagne. Diana was even more to the point. Meeting him was like being run over by an express train. Certainly looks as though he's got steam up.
You a lifelong friend who more than 20 years later offers you a part in a film he's directing.
But I must warn you, Dorsey, the part doesn't exactly call for a sex symbol.
Writer, director, and currently starring in the comedy hit Tom, Dick and Harriet, Lionel Jeffries. So Lionel, this wasn't a glamorous role you wanted Diana to play.
Oh, I tell you how it started. I rang her up one night and I said, it's a part, I'm not too sure you're going to be happy about it, because I said, I'm going to destroy all that sex symbol rubbish. And she said, you always wanted to do that? And I said, yes, well, I'll tell you what it is. She said, what's the name of the picture? And I said, it's The Amazing Mr. Blunden. She said, I see, you want me to play Mr. Blunden? I said, no, it's Mrs. Wickings. Oh. So she said, well, go on. And I said, well, we're going to pad you out to about 28 stone. She said, go on. I said, we're going to shove a wig on you, flea-bitten old grey wig. She said, go on. Anything else? I said, yes. To cap it all, we're going to stick a rubber wart on your nose with hair sticking out of it. She said, is that it? I said, that's it. She said, I'll do it.
And here you are, Diana. Yes, a very different Anna Dors from the rank charm school days as Mrs. Wickens in the film The Amazing Mr. Blunden.
Aren't you interested in cash, you great lump? Cash! £30,000 if he snuffs it.
And tell me, Lionel, what did she say, when she saw herself in the mirror at the end of the makeup?
She said, well, you succeeded in destroying the myth line, but you see, she received national and international acclaim for that performance, because you see, she proved once more, she's always doing, what a marvellous, exclusive actress she is. She's not just a good actress, she's a totally exclusive and extremely brilliant actress, and I love her very much.
Oh. Thank you, Lionel Jeffries. Comes the chance of a film in Hollywood. Your first marriage had been crumbling for some time, and your new involvements in America meant the final split. Dennis Hamilton died 2 years later, aged just 33. You returned to America for more film work and television specials with some of the biggest names in show business. And they don't come any bigger than the good friend who's in Los Angeles tonight, Bob Hope.
Hello, Eamon. Hello, Di. When they told me Eamon was planning this surprise for Di tonight, I thought first they made a mistake asking me to appear. I just couldn't remember Lady Diana ever doing a song and dance number on my show in America. But then, well, they said it was Diana Dors. Let me tell you, going back a few years, he used to pop up, I said, on my show almost as regularly as Crosby. And when you first came over to the States, I immediately understood why our GIs over in Britain were in no hurry to return home after the war, especially from the place called, what was it, Swindon? Sure sounded like a hell of a town, a kind of English Las Vegas. Oh, don't know how I ever missed it when I was here. Anyway, when I first met you, I thought we might have a game of golf. You certainly had a natural swing. But when I asked you if you'd like to play around, you said you didn't. But we became friends anyway. Seriously, Di, my NBC show has been going 33 years this year, and recently we put together some clips of shows from the past under the title of Women I Love, and you were right there because I love you a lot. And these days, there's quite a lot more of you to love. In fact, you're the only bit of the British film industry that's expanded. Just take care of her now, Eamon. Not too much excitement because she's led a sheltered life, that girl. Have a great night.
Thank you, Bob Hope.
In fact, we thought we might get through the Guinness Book of Records. In fact, how many takes we'd get to get it right.
Because of the laughs, but you did eventually get it right, didn't you?
Just about, yes.
And we can take a peep at just what happened on the way to the wash house.
Ladies, hark as a pilly cock. Looking for ladies, are you then, you hot young rip?
Those curtains.
What about them?
They ain't to be washed.
Oh, you're a juicy young devil, ain't you? He's got a rolling eye.
Listen, ladies, all I want is...
We all know what you want, don't we?
Thank you, Richard O'Sullivan. Because of all the friends you've made in 35 years in show business, for you, one stands out from all the others for a very special reason.
I'm very flattered that you asked me to be the godfather of your child, Gary.
Not only that, but you and your son spent many happy hours at his home in California. Tonight he's due on stage in St. Louis, Missouri, but grabs the chance to talk to you now. International entertainer, Liberace.
Hello, Diana, and hello, Eamon. I'm so happy to have this opportunity to talk to you. I have such fond memories of you, Diana. When you first came to California back in the days when we were both sex symbols, remember? You came to my home in the Valley in San Fernando, and we had such wonderful times together. Well, it's been many years since we first met, but I'm so proud of the fact that you've become such an accomplished actress. I'm still going strong, and I look forward to seeing you in London when I come there next May. God bless you, Diana, and my best to all of your many admirers, and especially to you, Eamon. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you, Liberace in St. Louis. And Diana, I close with a sentence you wrote yourself. As I gaze back in the looking glass of life, my 3 sons really are the fairest of them all. Jason here, of course, and your 2 sons who live in America, not in Hollywood tonight. For a happy ending, your son Gary and your eldest son, whom we haven't seen since you were in California 4 years ago. We've flown him here too, Mark. Diana Dors, this is your life.
To me.
This is your life, and who could ask for 2 more glamorous co-conspirators than Sally Thompson and Paula Wilcox, stars of Man About the House, and about to get one back on a practical joker pal of theirs, whose taxi should be arriving at this road right now. So if you'll keep an eye out and give me the wink as soon as he's here, and we'll be ready to go. Thank you, girls. He's coming in the taxi, I hope, with Peter Fraser-Jones, the producer of the program, to film a special insert of a concert, a rather tatty concert perhaps, for the show. Now, I hope that that concert will not, in fact... Is he already? Oh, Lord, okay. Not quite the concert you expected, but I hope you'll enjoy it twice as much, because star of that Man About the House, Richard O'Sullivan, this is your life.
I'm too young.
a slight bit of a shock there. Richard, how do you feel now?
I feel much older.
Well, Richard O'Sullivan, this is your life, and believe it or not, this young man here is celebrating some 21 years in show business. And here's a picture of you, Richard, as a 9-year-old schoolboy. Now, not many people know that that schoolboy was also a film star, and we'll be hearing more about that remarkable career later. Today, Man About the House is a chart-topping comedy success, but Sally, there was one funny moment in the show we at home all missed, wasn't there?
Oh, yes. He kept forgetting his lines. And it was all about Nanook of the Frozen North.
Every time he kept coming to this line, it wouldn't come out right.
Yes, and everybody started laughing. We did, the audience did.
Yeah, and the more the audience laughed, I think the more we forgot it, and the more we forgot it, the more the audience laughed. Yeah. Till in the end, they actually wanted us to get it wrong.
Well, Richard, we know that you finally master that tongue twister because we've got hold of that film. So let's take a look at the final version with all the tries, the one that we, the viewers, saw at home.
Do you know, I read a book once. Nanook of the Frozen North, you see. And when an Eskimo gets a cold, all the women of the tribe, well, the young women really, see, they all strip off and they get into bed with him, you see, on the theory that they're all going to sweat it out together.
Oh, yeah? Does it work?
No, but it doesn't seem to bother them.
Well, that television house had made millions laugh, but the happiest house for you, Richard, I know, is the one here in Chiswick, West London, where you were brought up. And from there, of course, your mother Ellen, father Jackie, and younger brother John. Jackie, today the name of Richard O'Sullivan is well known to television audiences, but the day this bonny baby we see here came into the world, you had another name ready, didn't you?
Yes. Maureen.
What name?
Maureen.
Maureen. Would you please explain that to us?
Yes. When I came home on leave from the RAF during the war, I found the hospital and inquired about my wife, and they said, "You've got a baby girl." So I definitely made the name Maureen. And then I not had a nice Scotch. So I phoned up later, and I was informed that there was 2 Mr. O'Sullivans in the hospital. I gave birth to a baby boy.
That must have come as a shock.
Indeed, a terrible shock. So then I went out and had 2 double Scotches.
Fair enough. Well, Richard, you were born on May the 7th, 1944. Now, with your mother, you were evacuated to a small village in Leicestershire, and when you return, 10 months later, wartime London is under nightly attacks from flying bombs. And Ellen, during one raid, baby Richard here became a war casualty of sorts, didn't he?
Yes. I was getting ready for bed, and I was potting by the fire to keep it nice and warm for him. And the sun went, and I picked him up and sat him on the fire.
I can't. She was warming your potty by the fire when the siren went.
Yes, I'm sure.
And I ran to the shelter where Richard stuck to the potty.
You mean you put him on the red hot potty?
Yes.
I suppose you were too young to remember that. And we don't want to see the scars. Now, John, you're a copywriter with an advertising agency, but as a boy, you also did a bit of acting. Now, wasn't there a time when you had a chance of joining a Brother Richard in a film?
Yeah, I went for an audition to play the part of Richard's brother. And there were 8 of us in a line, and I was feeling rather confident of getting the part for some reason which I can't explain. And I was the last in the line, and everyone here was taking ages, this producer. And he came to me, smile on my face, and he said, "Oh no, he's got the wrong shaped face, he's no good." You know, I felt like Quasimodo's second cousin. So, that was a part I didn't get.
I bet it wasn't. Well, Richard, when you were 6, your mother sends you for 6 shillings a time Saturday morning elocution lessons in the nearby Corona Stage School. But after just a few lessons, you're sent home from school.
That's because I had a special message for Richard's parents.
The teacher who discovered then and encouraged your acting talent for more than 20 years ago, Rona Knight. Yes. Rona, what was the special message?
Well, I wanted to ask if he could have full-time lessons, because after just a few lessons, I was impressed with his poise and confidence, and I thought, even though he was so young, I felt he had all the qualities to make a good actor. And we're all so very proud of what you've done since.
Thank you, Roland Knight.
Thanks,
Now, you didn't know it then, obviously, Richard, but those lessons were to lead to a life of excitement and adventure. And after an audition in which you compete against 300 other boys, you're chosen for a starring role in a film that's to be made in Venice. And just a few weeks before your 9th birthday, you say goodbye to your parents for the first time to board a plane that is to fly a little boy from Chiswick to stardom. Now, that film, The Stranger's Hand, told the story of a young boy searching for his father, a Secret Service agent, being held captive by foreign agents. And here you are in that scene, the moment when your search is over.
Daddy. Daddy. This is Joe.
Joe?
Tremendous.
That was very funny, wasn't it?
I thought it was very good. How did it feel at that age to be playing opposite such an international star actor as Trevor Howard?
It felt okay, yes. The point was, the thing was that at that age there was a director, an Italian director, who was terrific. And the only way he was going to get me to get it together to be pretty good, he said, if you're very good, he was really mad, he said, Richard, he said, if you're very good, lots of money will come from heaven. This is very true. And so I said, okay, it's a good contract, isn't it? So I tried it, and I did it, and he said, cut, and no money came. So he said, Richard, you better try again. So I tried again, and suddenly all this money came from heaven, and lots of money came along. And what I found out later was that he'd given lots of little pennies and lira to all the crew, and when he said, yeah, that's okay, all the crew flicked up all these coins, and I thought it was money from heaven. And I thought, this is a good living, this. Lucky well.
I don't imagine Trevor Howard was paid that, May.
No, he wasn't.
But right now, he's making his latest picture, Conduct Unbecoming, but he's taken time literally straight off the set to be here. Trevor Howard. I'm not a madman, but I'm glad you are a madman. What about this boy? What do you remember of him on that occasion?
Well, it's a long time ago. We won't go into that.
A couple of years ago.
Yes, and I said to him, you've got to start the game in something difficult, something like Shakespeare. And about 3 years later, I went to Stratford-on-Avon, and there he was. He started at 12. I didn't do it till about I was 18 or 19. Awfully nervous. Don't you think he's nervous?
He'll have to grow one of those mutton chops. Great to see you. Thank you, Trevor Howard. Well, I know those were very happy days with Trevor, but for you there was one very special day, your 9th birthday. And this is quite remarkable that we should have this story for you. During a break in filming, someone who thinks you might be lonely so far away from home asks you this question.
Hello, Richard. What would you like as a present for your birthday?
That's the director himself who had the pennies from heaven. He's flown from Milan to meet you again for the first time in 21 years. Italy's famous Mario Soldati.
You're a dummy. Well, it's impossible. It's impossible.
Mario, when you asked him this question, what was Richard's reply to your offer?
Well, I don't know. I have to collect my strength in this moment. It's difficult. Well, he said something about perhaps I had a watch like that, and he said, please, I would like that. See, I would like that. So it was given to him.
I've still got it. It's worth a fortune today. It's gold.
You chose him from what, as we said, 300 boys, and started this career.
Well, you know,
what did he get?
Well, the idea is this, that to direct a child is very difficult always. But when you are a foreigner, and you don't speak the same language of the child, it's even more difficult. So why did I choose? Because among all the children I've seen, it was the only one that gave me, it was safe, because he was small, he was a professional actor, a small, accomplished little comedian. He was perfect. Ciao, Richard. Ciao.
Ciao. Ciao, and thank you.
I'll see you in about 30 minutes.
Mario Soldati, thank you. Well, obviously, Richard, you had great fun out there. And Ellen, did he write home often to tell you what was going on?
Yes, he wrote home frequently, telling me about Trevor Howard's.
Go on, Mum. Keep going. Keep going.
You're working and a little playmate, Prince.
Who? What is it? A playmate who was a prince?
Yes.
Well, obviously he wrote you plenty of letters anyway, but before you're even a teenager, you're a veteran of more than a dozen films. And still only 12 years old, you receive one of the greatest honours in any actor's life, an invitation to join the Shakespeare Memorial Company at Stratford-on-Avon. And here tonight, an actress from the same play 18 years ago, television and West End stage star, Prunella Scales. Well, Prunella, what do you remember of Richard?
Oh, he was very clever, you see. Yeah. Well, Martin Love's Labour's Lost, I suppose, is one of the most difficult parts in the whole of Shakespeare, but he knew all the lines long before everybody else, and we all loved him, we really did. And he had this costume that looked like a sort of Christmas tree. But inside it was this very butch, very tough little boy with a highly coloured vocabulary who played poker in the dressing room with all the wardrobe ladies.
Did I win?
What? Oh, yes, all the time. But I think he's one of the few child actors who's really made it as a grown-up professional. I think that's why, because he's sort of kept his sense of reality. I'm the greatest possible fan, honestly. I never miss the show.
Thank you, Prunella Scales. Thank you. At 14, Richard, you've entertained scores of audience in both the theatre and the cinema, but school days aren't over yet, and you still have to go back to the classroom, and it's there one audience isn't at all impressed.
That was when he took over a new role as teacher for the day.
A friend from your school days, now leading actress and musical comedy star, yes, Sheila White. Sheila, so Richard wasn't cut out to be a teacher?
No, he wasn't very good, actually. Well, you see, he was in the senior group, and I was one of the junior students, and he took over a lesson because our teacher was ill. And it was a Shakespeare reading, so I thought, well, that's going to be funny for a start. And he started off and he was reading Hamlet. And it was like Richard Burton and Larry Grayson at the same time. Now, I'm not being fair to you, really, because he's a fantastic dramatic actor as well. And yes, I know you are. And there's lots of people, Eamon, that aren't here tonight that are great friends of Richard, and they'd like to be here, but unfortunately can't all be. And I'm very proud to be here tonight. And
shut up. Don't say any more. Thank you, Sheila White. Well, obviously you weren't cut out for teaching, Richard, but you might have been a pop star, because when you aren't acting, you look forward to your weekly piano lessons. You're so keen on music, you get together with some school pals and form a jazz group. And at local charity shows, you entertain with sounds like this. Now that sound hasn't been heard for 16 years, but for you, we've brought your friends in the school jazz group back together again. On piano, Larry Dawn. Dan. On drums, Roy Hines. On bass, Alan Colfield, and rhythm singer Valerie Buckley. Valerie, I'm told he was a bit of a penis with you.
Oh, yes, he was. Rubbish. He was our pianist.
Oh, it's rubbish.
Darling.
Rubbish.
You were actually beautiful. It's lovely to see you again. Congratulations. Come on, we want you to join us. Will you do that?
Come on.
Yes. Anything in a
C, F, or G, he says.
Come on. I'm not doing it by myself.
Fantastic! Thank you, Annie, Roy, Gary, and Maestro Sullivan. Well, now, it's not long.
I need that.
That was fantastic. It's not long, Richard, before you're packing your bags again, chosen to play Jim Hawkins in an American television spectacular of Treasure Island. You're just 15 when you fly off to New York, and I know you were particularly excited about that trip because it would give you a chance to meet again a favourite cousin of yours, your mother's sister's lad. And I bet it was the same story for him. He could introduce you as a film star to all his friends.
But when my big moment came, Richard was speechless.
That same cousin, you haven't seen him for 14 years. He's flown from his home in New York to meet you again, Dickie Reynolds.
Oh.
I can't imagine Richard being lost for words, so you better tell us what happened.
Well, in those days, Richard was my only claim to fame, and I was constantly telling my friends about my famous cousin, the movie actor. So I invited him around to a party one evening, and as I remember it, the host was a little too generous. Richard had, I think, more drinks than he realized, didn't speak to a soul, and they just thought he was a little temperamental, I think, being in the movies, not at all realizing, of course, that he was bombed.
Thank you, Dickie Reynolds. Well, fully recovered, Richard. More films follow. Next stop, it's Rome, and here's a picture of you at 16 playing one of the most difficult roles of your life as the boy king in Cleopatra.
Very beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, that film kept you in Italy for 8 months, but being a soccer fan, you have a special reason for flying home weekends, don't you?
I do. Unfortunately, I look after Chelsea. Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
They're terrific.
Of course.
A couple of problems at the moment. We'll sort it out.
But as well as being a fan, you're a footballer yourself, and you often turn out with a showbiz in 11, but in one match you break your leg. You're at home feeling sorry for yourself and waiting for words of sympathy when the telephone rings.
What sort of a friend breaks his leg for charity?
A friend who joined you in some of the happiest films you made, Melvin Hayes. What did you have to say on that telephone call, Melvin?
Well, what actually happened, we were doing a film called Wonderful Life, and...
Don't take too long.
No, I'll be very quick. Shut up. And I broke my foot while we were filming, and we had one more dance number to do. It was called Home, and we had to do it on a boat. And I couldn't do it until the foot was better, you see. And every day on the call sheet, they used to put this little note which said, the dance number will be shot when Melvin Hayes is able to dance, which is ridiculous. I couldn't dance before the accident. True. And so anyway, the thing was, the film was finished. We still had to do this number, but we were on salary all the time. He was on salary as well, till my foot got better. The thing was, he earned enough money to get an electric organ. Then 6 months later, he phones me up and he says, what do you think, Melv? I broke my leg playing football. What sort of a friend breaks his leg playing football for charity? I mean, you know, it's ridiculous.
Thank you, Melvin Hayes. Thank you. So you're a song and dance man as well, Richard. Now, in that film, Wonderful Life, there was someone else singing and dancing with you, and I know the viewers will recognize them as they take a look at the three of you going through your routine.
In your hometown, so you grab up that bag case and go. A smile on your wheel.
Well, of course, that third member was none other than Cliff Richard. Right now he's on tour, but he does have a special message for you, and if you look at the screen over there, you'll see just what it is.
Well, hi there, Richard. So they finally got you. I feel really glad that you were in my films because I feel they were steps up for me, and I felt really that I've been stepping on your back too. I mean, you really gave me a tremendous lurch forward in my career. Anyway, I hope it's going to be a tremendous evening. I'm sure it will. Once again, I wish I was there, but I'm not. So have a tremendous time. Goodbye and God bless.
Thank you, Cliff Richard. Now, Richard, suddenly your career reaches a difficult stage. The boy actor grows up and the telephone stops ringing. Now, Jackie, that wasn't an easy time for Richard.
A very difficult time. He was very disillusioned. He was very seriously thinking of immigrating to Australia.
What was it like, suddenly to be out of work?
Well, it wasn't very nice, actually. Well, it wasn't very nice.
All right. But 3 years ago, the phone did ring. You're offered a one-episode appearance in a new television comedy series, and it's just the tonic you need. And it was this character that did it, Dr. Bingham in the Doctor at Large series.
Good, I have no more to say. It is my day off, and you already delay me to getting to the station.
Good, I hope you missed your train.
Archie, Scott, I'm not going anywhere. I'm train spotting.
Well, I hope the Brighton Bell runs you over.
Collier, the Brighton Bell doesn't run anymore.
I'm not fussy, Lawrence. Any train will do.
Well, you were such a success with this character, they wanted you for the rest of the series. And the man we've just seen alongside you in that clip is here tonight, actor and writer George Layton. During that series, you were behind another of Richard's successes. What was that?
Yes, I must say that I...
Keep talking.
Yeah, no, I must say that I helped Richard become a pop star. No, don't go away, Richard, because, I mean, you were approached by a record company to play the title role in a musical. Do you remember? Do you think you could recognise the voice?
No.
No? Well, that's the only way of checking. Let's listen to it. Can we hear that voice of Richard?
Nobody in the whole world is my name. Mine's a funny little name. Rumpelstiltskin.
You see,
that was Richard?
That was my boy. I taught him. What happened was, Richard came and said, you know, I'm making an LP, you know, the title role, something called Grimpelstilton or something, and I said, Rumpelstiltskin. And he said, that's it. I said, you know, it's a goblin. And of course that frightened him and he didn't want to do it, and so I took him to a pub and I said, Richard, you just got to...
Did you?
Yeah, I said, you've got to drink.
Of
course. I said, all you got to do is make a funny voice. And that is, well...
You should have done it.
No, it's terrific. But I think, you know, the acting's a little bit better than the singing.
Thank you, George Layton. Thank you. Now, Richard, just before I finish, I want to take a look at one page in a scrapbook your mother keeps. In it is a letter dated Venice, July 28th, 1953. And it finishes... It's from a boyhood pal who turned out, as your mother said, to be a prince. It ends, I would like to see you again, in boyish handwriting, lots of love, your friend Alexander. Now, he was, in fact, Crown Prince Alexander of Yugoslavia and godson of Queen Elizabeth. Today he lives almost 6,000 miles away in South America, but tonight the wish in that letter, 21 years ago, becomes true, because with his wife, Princess Maria de Gloria, we have flown him from Rio de Janeiro, Prince Alexander. Prince Alexander, you and Richard were boyhood friends 21 years ago, and there's one memory you cherish most, isn't there?
Do you remember tearing around the garden in Venice on bicycles?
Yes, I do. Oh, God.
But we're absolutely thrilled with your successful career and the pleasure that you're giving to millions of people. It's really wonderful.
Richard O'Sullivan, this is your life.